Have you ever heard of angels who loved too deeply, angels who defied heaven itself, and for that paid the ultimate price? Among the oldest and most mysterious stories ever told, buried in ancient texts and whispered through generations, there exists a forgotten tale, a tale not of mortals, but of celestial beings who made a choice that would shake the very foundations of creation. It is the story of the Watchers, and among them one angel would rise above the fall. His name was Sariel, the only one who was forgiven. In the beginning, before the first kingdom of man, before the first stone was laid upon the earth, there were the Watchers, 200 mighty angels chosen by God to guard humanity. They were not ordinary spirits. They were beings of immense power and wisdom, radiant with light that could pierce the stars. Their duty was sacred, to watch, to protect, to guide, but never to interfere. Yet what began as guardianship would soon become rebellion. Among these angels were leaders of great renown: Samyaza, Azazel, Ramiel, and Sariel. Each had a role in heaven's order, each bound by the Creator's command. But even angels, perfect in form and glorious in purpose, were given something dangerous: free will. And in that gift lay both beauty and the seed of ruin. For ages the Watchers looked upon the earth and marveled at the creation they were assigned to protect. They saw men till the soil, build homes, sing songs, love and laugh, and weep and worship. They saw women, daughters of Eve, whose beauty and innocence stirred emotions the Watchers had never known. And from admiration came desire. From desire came longing. And from longing came the first thought of rebellion. It began with whispers. Samyaza, their chief, spoke of a life beyond the heavens, a life shared with the daughters of men. At first, his words were dismissed as curiosity, but temptation is patient. It grows like a shadow, slowly, silently. Until one night, atop the towering peak of Mount Hermon, the 200 gathered under the stars. There, Samyaza spoke again, his voice filled with fire and conviction. "Let us descend," he said. "Let us take wives among the daughters of men and make for ourselves a new destiny." Many hesitated, for they knew the price of defiance. But Samyaza's words stirred something dangerous in their hearts, the thrill of forbidden love, the hunger for freedom. And so they made a pact, an unbreakable oath. Each one swore by his own eternal name that none would turn back once the descent began. The mountain trembled beneath their vow. The heavens darkened, as if mourning what was about to unfold. That night, the Watchers fell. Their descent was not like a storm, but like stars being torn from the sky. Each angel fell as a streak of light across the firmament, blazing trails that the ancients would later call shooting stars, heaven's tears. When their feet touched the earth, the world changed. The air grew heavy with unseen power. The balance between heaven and earth was broken. And for the first time, angels walked among men, not as messengers, but as trespassers. At first, their arrival brought wonder. They taught humanity things that had been hidden since the dawn of time: the knowledge of the stars, the secrets of herbs and metals, the craft of weapons, and the art of enchantment. But what was meant to enlighten soon corrupted. For man, unprepared for divine secrets, turned knowledge into pride, and power into bloodshed. The world was transformed. Wars erupted, kingdoms rose in violence. And from the forbidden union of angels and women were born the Nephilim, giants of enormous strength and boundless arrogance. They ruled over humanity as tyrants, devouring everything that lived. The earth groaned beneath their weight. But among those who had descended, one angel stood apart. His name was Sariel. Like the others, he had made the vow on Mount Hermon. He, too, felt the pull of the earth and the fire of forbidden love. But as he watched his brothers abandon themselves to corruption, something stirred in his heart, a sorrow, a recognition of how far they had strayed. Sariel saw the chaos spreading like a plague. He saw his brothers take pride in their power, teaching humans dark arts, manipulating creation itself, playing gods among men. He saw the Nephilim crushing the world under their monstrous feet, and his spirit trembled. Unlike the rest, Sariel did not take a wife. He did not build altars to himself or demand worship. He walked among men not as a conqueror, but as a silent witness. And when he saw the destruction, he wept. There are ancient fragments, hidden among apocryphal texts and forgotten scrolls, that speak of one among the watchers who tried to turn back the tide. An angel who warned his brothers, begging them to stop before judgment came. He spoke to Samyaza and Azazel, saying, "Do you not see what we've done? We were sent to guard, not to rule, to guide, not to corrupt." But his words fell into the void. The others laughed at his caution, drunk on their newfound power. They had tasted the forbidden, and there was no turning back. So Sariel withdrew. He chose solitude over sin, repentance over ruin. He climbed the highest mountains, seeking to commune once more with the God he had betrayed. He did not ask for glory or forgiveness, only for understanding. Then came the day of reckoning. The cries of the earth reached the heavens. The blood of innocents cried out for justice, and God in his perfect judgment sent forth his messengers, the archangels of fire and light. Michael, the commander of the heavenly armies, descended with a sword of flame. Raphael, healer of the wounded world, came to cleanse the earth. Gabriel, herald of divine decrees, sounded the trumpet of wrath, and Uriel, bearer of God's light, illuminated every hidden sin. The skies split apart with thunder. Lightning struck the mountains where the watchers had first made their oath. One by one, the fallen were seized and bound with chains not of iron, but of spirit. Their glory was stripped away, their radiance turned to shadow. Samyaza, their leader, cried out as he was cast into the abyss. Azazel, who had taught mankind to forge weapons, was buried beneath the desert sands. The rest were hurled into darkness, to await the day of judgment. But Sariel was not among them. He had been found, not hiding, but kneeling. He did not resist the archangels when they came. He did not justify himself or demand mercy. He simply bowed his head and said, "I have seen the folly of my kind." And heaven heard. In the silence that followed, a voice unlike any other filled the heavens, calm, eternal, unchanging. It was the voice of the Most High. "Sariel," the voice said, "you have fallen, yet your heart remained pure. You chose restraint when others chose ruin. Rise." And for the first time since the rebellion began, an angel who had fallen was lifted up again. Sariel's light returned, brighter, purer than before. But his restoration was not a reward. It was a mission. God appointed him to a new purpose, to watch over the souls of the repentant, to guide those who stumble but still seek the light. Sariel became a guardian not of the innocent, but of the broken. He was sent to walk beside those who have failed yet long to rise again. He was no longer called a watcher in the sense of a guardian of men, but a restorer of souls. Ancient texts describe him as one of the 7 holy angels who stand before the throne of God, together with Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, Uriel, Raguel, and Remiel. But Sariel's role is unique among them. While others fight, heal, or announce divine will, Sariel's duty lies within the hidden chambers of the human heart. When a soul trembles between right and wrong, when a person stands on the edge of despair but finds a spark of hope, that quiet nudge, that sudden awareness, that moment of strength to choose light over darkness, many believe that is Sariel's whisper. He understands weakness because he has felt it. He knows the silence of heaven because he once lived through it. He knows the pain of regret because he once wept for his own. And that is what makes him the perfect guide for the fallen. Sariel does not accuse, he understands. He does not condemn, he comforts. He does not command, he guides. His strength is not in punishment, but in compassion. For he, more than any other, knows that the path back to light begins with humility. It is said that even now, Sariel walks invisibly through the world, an unseen presence that lingers wherever a soul is ready to turn back to God. He moves through moments of despair, through the hearts of the weary, through the silent prayers of those who believe they are too far gone. He does not appear in glory or thunder, but in stillness. Sometimes, in the quiet moment when you feel peace after tears. Sometimes, in the voice that tells you to forgive when anger burns. Sometimes, in the strength to stand again after failure. That might be him. For the greatest miracles do not come in lightning or fire, they come in whispers of mercy. Sariel's story reminds us that the fall is not the end, that rebellion can be redeemed, that even the greatest mistake can become the foundation of transformation. When heaven judged the watchers, it was not cruelty, it was order restored. But when heaven forgave Sariel, it was love revealed. He became living proof that divine justice and divine mercy are not enemies. They are two sides of the same eternal truth. And that truth is this: no one is beyond redemption. The ancient world remembered Sariel not as the angel who sinned, but as the angel who chose to turn back. And his story still echoes today in every person who faces temptation and chooses righteousness, in every heart that refuses to surrender to corruption. He stands as a symbol for all who have fallen but still long for heaven, for all who feel unworthy yet still hope for grace, for all who, like him, once walked in darkness but still carry a spark of light. If you ever wonder whether your mistakes have pushed you too far from God, remember Sariel. He stood on the same mountain as the rebels. He made the same vow. He saw the same temptations, but he chose differently. He teaches us that it is not where you fall that defines you. It is what you choose after. The others sought dominion, but he sought forgiveness. They built empires of ruin. He rebuilt his soul. And because of that, his name became eternal, not as a fallen one, but as a forgiven one. In the halls of heaven, his presence is quiet but radiant. He stands beside the throne as a reminder to angels and men alike that mercy is never wasted, that even among 200 rebels, one act of faith can change everything. The book of Enoch calls him Sariel, the angel of guidance. Some later traditions call him the Prince of the Spirits of the Faithful. But to those who truly understand his story, he is something more. He is the bridge between fall and redemption, the proof that divine love can find you even when you've lost yourself. Sariel's story is not just a legend, it's a mirror. It reflects the struggle within every soul, to obey or to rebel, to rise or to fall, to give in or to hold fast. And through his example, heaven whispers to us still, it's never too late to return. Maybe that's why his influence feels so near even now, in the smallest acts of kindness, in the strength to forgive, in the decision to stand when it's easier to kneel to sin. Sariel's light moves quietly, unseen but unceasing, guiding those who are willing to listen. If you ever find yourself standing at a crossroads between what you want and what is right, remember him, the angel who fell but was not lost, the watcher who broke ranks yet found grace, the one who reminds us all that even in rebellion, redemption waits. Sariel's redemption is more than a story, it's a promise that even the darkest fall can lead to the brightest dawn, that no matter how deep the pit, the hand of mercy can still reach down. And maybe, just maybe, the same light that lifted Sariel from the ashes of rebellion still shines on us today. So the next time you look up at the night sky and see a shooting star, remember the ancient belief. Those lights were once angels falling from grace. But among them, one light rose again, the light of Sariel, the angel who was forgiven. If this story moved you, share it with someone who needs hope. Because Sariel's journey is not only about angels and heaven, it's about us. It's about our choices, our struggles, and the eternal chance to begin again. And perhaps that is the greatest mystery of all, that even in divine judgment, love never ends. The fall of the Watchers may have scarred the heavens, the narrator concludes softly, but the mercy that followed healed the soul of one angel, and through him may heal ours.